setting kind of the tone of what Google Apps is. So what I have here is actually my Google Apps. What I did was, Geographic got the Google Apps account, but in order for me to learn it better and kind of understand all the intricacies, I ended up taking out another domain name. I have a domain called cybersailors.com. So I took out another domain through GoDaddy for $7 a year. That's called cybersailors.org. And I applied that to a free version of Google Apps Standard Edition. So this is my email box and my calendar. Looks very similar to the regular version of Gmail and calendaring, but it also gives me some features on the back end where I could have 20 licenses, 20 emails within my domain account if I so choose. I was also able to, through this account, I was able to create a site for my students at Catholic. Since Catholic students don't have access to the sites right now, we are using an open site for the main kind of class and then a closed site for our class discussion. And then we're also using a combination of the Google Documents to share presentations from guest speakers. I also immersed my husband's company into the whole Google Apps experience because I'm like his little IT shop. So PorleyRoofing.com has now moved also over their mail, their form for submitting requests. So this is how I end up trying to learn a tool as best I can, even though it doesn't have this full feature. So I wanted to take you all kind of on a tour of some of the things at Geographic that we've been doing. And what's really interesting is some of the stuff that I learned in the libraries, like using Jing to record videos and stuff. I've been able to actually use a lot of these like learning tools that we kind of knew in the libraries. I'm like, oh yeah, I know how to do that. Or we've been doing virtual training with our satellite offices using WebEx. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know how to do that. I kept knowing always how to use the tools automatically. You know, just because I think in our profession we tend to kind of know a lot of different, tools and technology. So this essentially is my inbox in Google, and you can have it where you can, it looks a lot like Google, but you can brand it with the National Geographic. We're using a lot of calendar functionality. People really like the calendar feature because they can create their own calendar views or their leave calendar. So we can have up to, and they also have a feature, and I think this is part of Gmail. You can actually put a picture behind your calendar if you want to now. So we use our leave calendar. We have pay calendars. I'm actually able to share my Geographic calendar. Mary and I are doing an embedded librarianship class at SLA, so I was able to actually share my Geographic calendar with Mary. So if she needs to book something with me, she can see my booking when I'm free, when I'm not free. We're using the Google Documents pretty extensively for collaboration. And what I like about the Google Document model, Marie and I actually used it to build our CE course several years ago. And what I like about Google is that they're on a very tight product production. So we asked them several months ago for their strategic, 3 to 5 year plan on Google, and there was quietness, and then they were like, well, we don't have a 3 to 5. We have like a 3-month plan, and we're like, 3 months plan? But what it makes them very agile. They kind of watch to where the market is going, and they can kind of switch their roadmap based on what they're seeing happening in the marketplace. So they're not really tied to this 5-year plan, 3-year plan, 2-year plan. So it started making me think, well, maybe we all need to shorten our strategic plan. I don't know if we could shorten it to 3 months, but just like 3 months. So what's interesting, though, what I really like about this is we're looking at how to redesign our corporate intranet, because since we moved our whole messaging service from Lotus Notes to Google Apps, there's a move to actually shut down all our Domino servers. So our corporate intranet is on a Domino server. So I'm part of an intranet redesign group that's cross-divisional, and it was really nice. I don't know if you all can see, but there's like a little folder and a little person icon. So you can share a folder with an entire group of people that you would need to have access to it. And any subfolder you create under there takes on the whole rights of that one folder. So every time I deposit a document in there, I don't have to remember to share it with the 15 team people. It just automatically shares it with the team people. We've also turned on the ability to share a document outside our domain. So for people who are on our geographic channel, who are part of Fox staff, we can share documents now with Fox staff, but we can still be the owner of those documents. Or I could share a document with someone totally outside. Well, they're totally outside, but I could share a document with anybody and still own the rights of that document. So the combination of the documents and then also the sites are a wiki, which is why I like them so much, actually. Google bought a company named JotSpot several years ago, and that became the underlying technology of their site platform. And so they're constantly improving their site platform. And these are just some of the sites I've created or that have been shared with me. But as I go out and look at the sites starting to be created, some people are using them for pre-research. So if there's a story in the making on robots, one of the women who actually works in the photographic division who graduated from Catholic, Whitney, did you know Whitney Hall? No, she graduated from Catholic and she was an intern in the libraries, and then we got her, we recommended her for this job in photographic, and she loves her job because she does pre-research, and she loves going out and trying to find the information on, this one article was on robotics, and she could use a site. She just started kind of creating a site and then sharing that site with her whole photographic group. And then when it goes to a researcher, she can then share the site, you know, all the background research she had. She used to put it in these huge books, and every time anything updated, she'd have to update the books, the physical books, and now it's a site. So we created for the organization what we call a TIFF site. So as we started kind of rolling out the Google to the whole organization, we had your first day, week and beyond, top FAQs, and then we organized it by top FAQs, general FAQs, emails, calendar, contacts, mobile, Postini, which is our quarantine service. But it took the librarians to actually create this site. People were like, that's amazing. And I'm like, but it just came natural. So, you know, it's funny that I moved into IT, and yet all the skills I bring of value actually come from my library background and my library profession. The organization, the ability to sort of communicate with people, the ability to sort of see how people are using the tool and figure out a better work system, a new work system for them. Because if you're switching from Lotus Notes to Google Apps, it's not intuitive for some people, or most people even. People have gone crying and kicking. It's been uncomfortable for some people, and then other people, they love it. You don't ever hear from them. You're going to hear from the people who are the louder people, you know, the people who need to kind of understand it